once again, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I'm Terry Price.
I am Harold Presley.
And you've joined the Price and Presley Spook Show.
That's right. Don't get spooked, but it's okay if you do. We're here to save you. This is the regular guy look at the spooky happenings in your life, our lives, or anybody's life, paranormal stuff you can't explain. It could be if you sight a UFO or Bigfoot, anything like that, anything spooky or scarier, the better. We like that kind of thing. We're not experts. We just want to hear about it, and we love sharing that stuff with our listeners out there. That would be you. And if you got a spooky story you want us to share, maybe you're a little shy, you don't want to, do it yourself. We will be more than happy to do that for you. And we won't mention your name if you don't want that mentioned. We'll keep your privacy a top priority. Just email us to us at pricepresleyshow@gmail.com.
Yes, that's right. And don't forget to go by Facebook and follow us on Facebook and also YouTube.
It's really go important. To YouTube and click subscribe. Also, and click the likes. We like the likes.
We like a big old fat thumbs up.
That's right.
Just like the Fonzarelli, man.
That's right. We like you, so like us. Yeah.
Also, by the way, I've got some news, Harold.
What we got going on?
We have got Podbean all figured out.
Oh, you got it worked out. Okay.
We actually already have several shows uploaded to the Podbean Premiere site. Excuse me. $20. One-time fee, $20, and you get all the shows.
The shows will be up. They'll be archived up there, and you just listen to them.
That's right, and you don't have to wait every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks for us to post another one.
As soon as we record a show,
we're going to put it up there on Podbean, and they're all yours at your leisure. For
only $20.
Only $20. That's pretty
now,
good deal.
There'll be a link on Linktree just in the comments below on YouTube, and you can go there and find out how to get all of the episodes if you so wish, or you can
just wait every 2 weeks and get it free on YouTube. Right. You can do that as well. But we're going to be here to take care of that.
That's right. Also, we'll be a part of Patreon, and if you want to help support the show, any amount of donation would be amazing. Yeah. And I'm not sure what all the perks are for that, but I think there's going to be a perk for every so much you spend.
Yeah,
you get a little
I think they'll spill everything out there for you when you go there and look at it.
Harold will come over and clean out your car for you.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll do that. Whatever we got to do, okay? As long as it's not at night, it's not haunted, I'll do it, okay? I'm not messing with that stuff, okay? I'm not going any place that's haunted or might be.
Or as long as your car's not out in the middle of the woods.
Oh, no. You're on your own, pal, okay? Good luck. I'll see you later.
Harold, we got a really great show tonight.
We do.
It's a local story here in Bryan, Texas, where you and I are
got a local person that knows all the downtown Bryan happenings and paranormal stuff going on.
She used to lead a ghost walk downtown Bryan.
Do that, yeah. She used to do that as well. So we'll welcome her to the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Miss Cindy Peasley. Hello, Cindy.
Hey, how are you?
Did I say that right, Peasley?
You did.
All right,
congratulations.
Well, welcome to the show, Cindy. We're glad to have you here. I almost called you Peasley, but anyway, I guess I could do that. CP, that's what we'll call you, Cindy. And we want to know what's your story. How long have you been here in this community?
I've been here just over 20 years now.
Nice. Okay. And what brought you here? Was there some particular thing that brought you to our community?
My husband's work, actually. We relocated here from El Paso.
Nice.
That's what brought me to Bryan College
Same with you, yeah. Well, I was bring everybody. Just some job or something. That's what brought me here.
Well, my wife dragged me. Said, you have to come.
And you're glad she did.
I am actually.
All right. Well, Cindy, we're glad to have you here. And you have been, when you got here, you got really involved in the community and everything. We mentioned the fact that in the past you have, led some ghost walks, right?
I have. I got interested in it actually after I worked in downtown for a while, doing several different things. You just start seeing things and hearing things and starting to put stories together, a little research, and it leads to more. And it's just kind of like researching genealogy. You find a little something and it grows and grows.
Yes, that's the paranormal for you. You always end up with more questions and you get answers.
Answers for it.
Right.
I like that.
Right.
What are some of the things that you heard about going on downtown?
Yeah, why don't you just act like you're walking us through downtown Bryan and tell us.
Well, what are some things you heard about going on, some of the places, that kind of thing?
Gosh, there are things all over downtown Bryan, but I will tell you that I did work in the hospitality industry down there for a while. Mm-hmm. And when you start listening to visitors to the area tell the same stories of things that they've seen and heard, and you know that they haven't been here before, and all of the stories are mentioning the same thing, you start to think, wow, maybe there is a connection. Maybe they all did see the same thing.
You're talking about the LaSalle Hotel, right?
That's one of the places. Yep.
Wow.
And
Wow.
in the hospitality industry, they say if you don't have a ghost, get one.
Nice.
There were tons of people that came through there thinking, oh my gosh, it's so haunted, and it's not really so haunted. But a lot of it, I mean, it's all over downtown. Downtown's got a really storied history that a lot of people may not be aware of. It was like the wild, wild west in the late 1800s, and they had their gunfights. They had all of that going on, and just about any western you watch, well, a lot of that happened here too. So a lot of these stories kind of originate from back in the 1800s, 1860 and on, and we have research. You hear these stories, so geeks like me, history geeks, like to go through old newspapers and things like that and try to attach something to them. Like, why is this one thing happening over and over and over in this building? And I can tell you just about every building downtown has its story.
Oh, nice. Well, let's hear some of those stories.
Yeah.
Okay.
Give us some examples of some things that you heard about going on over and over in certain places.
Okay. There are two buildings, and I don't, I really don't want to mention which ones they are right now. These are all within about a 5-block area of each other.
Okay.
But one that
we're talking about downtown Bryan, right?
Downtown Bryan.
Bryan, Texas.
Bryan,
for
Texas.
those of you who are out of
Bryan,
state.
Out of state listening, okay?
Yep. And there's the story of a little girl always looking for her mommy, and she's always calling, "I'm coming, mommy, I'm coming." And that's just over and over. People that have been in these two buildings, they're both in the same area, they're next door to each other, have reported that they've heard this little girl over and over.
Just saying, "I'm coming.
I'm coming, mommy, I'm coming."
Right, I'm coming. Like she laughs. She's giggling, like she's playing. And they can hear the footsteps upstairs when you're downstairs in this building. And there have been employees that heard it after one day of work, and they've taken off and not come back.
Hey, that would be me. That'd be me.
Just gonna say
that would be me.
It would probably do it for me as well. And so, all the research in the world, we can't find anything on that. But it tells you something is probably there. Are they lost souls or what are they? We don't know.
Yeah,
that's right. That's
something.
And this has spanned many, many years that people have reported hearing this.
Wow.
Is it still going on today? Can you say that?
I still hear the stories of it.
Really?
Let me put it that way. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And one thing I can tell you, the one thing that I personally witnessed, I was standing with two other people, and we were at a desk, and two of us were on one side, one was on the other, and all of a sudden the swoop of light, which I now know is an orb after we researched it, swoop of light came in through a door that was on Main Street, came between us all, and disappeared into the wall. And the only way we knew that was dimensional was all three of us backed out of the way to get out of its way, and we all went different directions.
I'll bet you did.
Yes.
So okay, I'm gonna play devil's advocate here. So it couldn't have been like a reflection, like the sun bouncing off of something, light, that kind of thing. Could have been.
No, it clearly went between us, because the person I was talking to, we were looking at each other, and he went one way and I went back the other way. So he saw it from one angle, I saw it from another, and then the other person ducked out of the way, that it was going. It's hard to explain.
Wow.
For those
that was the first time I actually stood there and went, wow, okay, that was something.
For those that may not understand what an orb is, and you see it a lot from amateur ghost hunters, they'll show a picture of all these little glowing orbs on their picture and everything. That's generally just dust or water, or it can even be insects.
Yeah.
When it's a real orb, it's usually a round ball of light, and it moves, and you can see it with the naked eye. And that is what we classify as an orb, an actual real paranormal orb. They can, however, be confused with ball lightning, which is a real thing. Was it storming outside at the time?
No, not at all.
Well,
it was daylight. It was middle of the day.
Yeah, that would make ball lightning a little bit difficult.
Yeah.
And,
right.
Okay. Wow.
That's cool.
Okay.
How did it make you feel? Was it frightening, or was it just bewildering?
Not really. It was more bewildering, because we had heard all the stories. We'd heard so much, how people talk about ghost stories and stuff. And, keep in mind there are a lot of places to party and have a good time downtown.
Yeah.
So sometimes people come in with outrageous stories, and if it's real or not. But when something like that happens that you actually see, that kind of wakes you up a little bit.
Kind of adds a little bit of credence to the stories, doesn't it?
It does. It does. And there's some things that can't be explained. I know the hotel at one time had a general manager before me. I did know who they were. And this was shortly after I started there. And they called me about 3 o'clock one morning. And they were you could tell they were shaken up. And I thought, oh no. So I went in, and there was a public restroom door that had been banging just constantly, like somebody was just slamming it. So it's right back by the manager's office at that time. That's no longer the case. Excuse me. But I walked in, and the manager was in their office and just kind of shaking their head. And I said, well, what? And they said, well, it banged and it kept banging, and I got tired of it. So I went in there and I was going to tell them to stop, and there was nobody in there.
Oh, wow.
And I said, well, did you see the door opening and closing? And they said it was still moving when they walked in. So
yikes.
thought, okay.
Now,
Right.
what hotel are we talking about, or can you
No,
say?
do I have?
Oh, you
do
don't
I
have to.
I'd
No, you
rather
don't have
not
to. You
say.
don't have
I
to.
think we.
But a hotel in downtown is what you're telling us, right?
Yes, one
Okay.
of the hotels.
All right.
Yeah.
Now,
Well, before
And
you
also
go
keep-
on, Cindy, we probably should tell our listeners, for those that aren't from Texas, that Bryan, Texas, is right next door. It's a sister city to College Station
Yeah.
and Texas A&M University, and downtown Bryan has some wonderful restaurants, has hotels,
Yeah, lots of
and,
things,
and
businesses, lots of
antique stores
Yeah,
and things
all
like that. It's
kinds of
just a
things.
wonderful place to visit. So come down to downtown Bryan, Texas, and see us sometime.
Take the ghost tour.
Yeah, that's the plug. I wanted to give them a plug.
Okay, all right.
Okay, Cindy, go ahead.
there is a lot to do, absolutely. So anyway, there little things happened around that area, and there was a store. Well, I will tell you, I was giving kind of a personal tour to a friend of mine who doesn't really do ghost tours, and I said, well, we'll walk around. I'll tell you some of the stories. And I walked by a store that is no longer there. It's something else now, but the owner of it was away at a apparel. What am I trying to say? Like an apparel show.
An auction of some kind or something.
Excuse me, for a couple of weeks, and
Okay.
she always closed. Yeah, she always closed the store during that time, and she put paper over the windows, and with a nice little sign, be back in 2 weeks. So anyway, she had called me previously about some things that she saw, like books moving around on shelves and books getting thrown off of shelves. So I was walking by, and I was explaining this to the person I was with, and the doorknob started to turn. And I thought, I'm sure she said she wasn't there. So I called her. I said, I'm standing outside your shop. Are you here? And she said, no, I'm gone for 2 weeks. I said, is anybody else supposed to be there? And she said, no, I'm the only one with a key. And she said, oh no, what now?
Oh no, what now?
And right. And I told her, I said, well, the doorknob was moving, and I know I saw it move. You could hear it. And the person I was with heard it also. And he said, I've seen really enough. I think I'm done.
Well, that's
But, yeah.
that's frightening. Just the thought of watching a door. There's something about watching a doorknob turn when you know there shouldn't be anybody on the other side. That's frightening.
I'm going to say I've lived here longer than you, Sydney, and longer than Terry. I've lived here a long time, and I've been to downtown a lot. Seen it change a lot. It didn't used to look like it looks now.
Yeah.
I mean,
No,
when I moved
not
here,
at
it was
all.
like it was a desert. There was nothing going on there. But I'm yet to come across anything like this, to see this kind of stuff. And I want to see something like this. I want to experience this.
Well, I know I've
You know.
I've played in the little bar that's below the LaSalle Hotel.
Yeah.
And I have never seen anything that was paranormal, but I can tell you when you get off get off the elevator,
That's what I've heard. The elevators. Yeah.
it is so weird. You get this weird
It's weird.
feeling.
That's what everybody. It's told me that when you get on the elevator and you get up, it's weird. You feel something. It's just strange.
Yeah. Do you have any stories about that, Cindy?
Not about the elevator. That's the first I've heard about.
Well, no, I'm
Oh.
talking about when you get off the elevator down there in the basement. Because that's where the
I've heard a lot about the basement area.
Yeah.
At the LaSalle.
Oddly enough, that's what everybody thought. And I think it's because the lack of windows.
Maybe.
I always liked it down there because it was so quiet. There
It
was
is.
a
It's very
conference
quiet.
room
Yeah, I've
down
been
there,
down
and
to
it was
the
just
It's really
and
quiet.
the acoustics are awesome.
Yes, yes, they are.
But they have the old boiler room, and the old boiler is still there. So there were a lot of stories. Everybody wanted to see the bones in the boiler. Well, there weren't any.
Okay. So that's not. I've heard that. That's not true. Okay, I've heard that.
No.
That there's
That's
bones
not true
down
at
there,
all.
man.
Yeah. No. It's just one of those creepy things people can build on.
Okay.
And it's not really when you expect it. We had people come through Halloween, and they'd sit in the lobby and wait for something.
Wait for something to
And it's
happen.
like,
Really?
they don't know if it's October 31st. You're kind
Doesn't
of
really
wasting
work
your
like
time.
that.
But
Yeah. Even I know that. It doesn't work like that. You don't sit
It's-
there and wait for something to happen.
it's one of those things. But I will tell you that we had ghost hunters come through,
Mhm.
and I kind of, and I know that.
When you say
There
ghost
is-
hunters, do you mean just the average run-of-the-mill ghost hunters, or the ghost hunters that had the TV show?
Not the ghost hunters, but they were what they considered professional ghost hunters.
Okay.
With equipment and all that stuff.
With equipment, yep, all of that.
Okay.
So they came through. Well, they always came through there. They go through every what I call antique building.
Okay.
So I thought, well, I'm going to follow them around if they don't mind. And I asked them that. And they said, sure, follow us. And so I was following them, and they have the little interior. You'll know what this is called, the little electro, what is it?
The EMF meter?
Thank you. That.
Yeah, EMF.
Had that in his hand, and that thing just started going crazy in one spot of the hotel. And he threw it. And I thought, well, okay, you don't need to throw stuff. And
Yeah.
he said it's too hot to hold. So I thought,
whoa.
right.
You ever heard that?
I've never heard of that.
Oh, wow.
Me neither. And I thought, yeah, sure. So he said, look at it. So I picked it up, and he was right. It was like picking up a branding iron.
Really?
Really, it was super hot. So I thought, okay. So he said, we're going to leave it here and we're going to drop a recorder here. And, they picked up a little something you can kind of hear if you turn it up super loud.
Yeah, an
I wasn't
EVP.
sure what I was. Yeah. And supposedly they were saying, get out.
Harold's favorite 2 words.
Get out.
Yeah, I seem to remember this in a movie, and that would have been I would have turned around and left. That would have been the end of the movie. Okay, get out.
Right.
Don't got to tell me twice.
That's all I got to hear, pal. I'm out. See ya.
That's it. But I got to tell you, we had ended up naming that ghost Fred.
Fred.
Nice.
People in town that are laughing right now because they know that.
They know Fred.
But it was all good. I mean, if anything, Fred was helpful. We had a GM that was a general manager that was there and trying to open the roof hatch, and she was not that strong. It weighs about 70 pounds for safety. And she tried and she tried, and she had to get up on the roof to work on an air conditioner. It was kind of an emergency thing. And she said, finally, I yelled out, help me, Fred. And she said that hatch opened right up. She
Are
said,
you
I
kidding?
didn't even have to push it. No.
Wow. Wow.
Just little things like that. A couple of pictures flying off the wall when someone said they didn't like them.
Yeah, as an investigator, one of my favorite sayings is that these paranormal activities never happen on demand, but
No.
I guess they do sometimes.
Sometimes, I guess,
Well, or not yet. I don't know. It's just one of those things. I mean, there are, yeah. Sometimes you can't explain it. We got lots of comments about, well, I hear children running up and down the hall when we knew we didn't have any kids there at all. So, I mean, and then there's also, I will tell you, there is a store, a furniture store in downtown Bryan, a wonderful one. We were talking to the owner at one point, and she was saying that one evening she left the store, or was getting ready to. She was the only one there. And she said to herself, I've really got to straighten up this row of chairs because, people come in, they try stuff out, it gets shifted around. So she was really tired that night. She left it, and she said she went in early the next morning, and the chairs were in a perfectly straight row. And she is the only one that was there. Nobody would have heard her.
Wow.
So yeah,
man,
they're there.
Wow.
So
They are there.
Did you ever have anything happen other than the doorknob turning? Did you ever have anything happen when you were actually, because I assume you did the ghost walks at night downtown when you did them?
We did.
Did you ever have anything happen while you were on a tour?
I did not. Now, the hard thing to tell about that is we would have a group of about 10 to 15 people. And when you're talking, you know, all of a sudden they're seeing things. Now, whether they're really seeing it or not,
Anyone's
you know,
guess.
they get a lot going. It's kind of like when they go through a haunted house. You know, they've got themselves so worked up that if they see any reflection, they just lose it.
Right. Right.
Which works great for a haunted house. But I have not. But some of the folks that have been with me have said that they've seen things move inside these stores at night. You know, it's one of those things when you say, "Oh, let me see," you're not going to see it. You know, it's going to kind of be a one-shot deal.
Yeah, we might also add right now that the Bryan PD patrols downtown pretty regularly. So don't be going out there and wandering around the buildings at night because you'll get yourself in trouble.
Yeah, they're gonna stop you. You don't want to do that.
Yeah, it's pretty. You know, if you're window shopping, that's one thing, but late at night, you don't want.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
It's a very safe area because it's well patrolled.
That's right.
Yeah.
The Stage Center Theater Group used to have, well, they're still downtown Bryan, but they used to have their theater at a different location in downtown Bryan over there. I can't remember the name of the building.
Third floor.
No, not third floor. The one before that.
Oh, it used to be on Main Street. The end of Main Street where the beer garden, that place is down the beer place.
I spent the night in there one night after
it was
show.
Huge. It was a huge place. It was a huge building.
There was a lot of noises going on.
Oh
there. I don't know that they were necessarily paranormal, but
it's so big though. I you know that it was like there's noises all the time in that place. There was. I was there late night at many times.
I bet.
And it was. You're right. It was cavernous. It was really huge.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of noise in that place. And I'd heard stories about that place.
Yeah.
As well. So I didn't stay by myself ever. If somebody was leaving, I was leaving.
Time to go. I remember one night because we were rehearsing for one of my Elvis shows when I was doing Elvis back in the day, and we'd been there kind of late at night, and I was one of the, or maybe it was after a show, I can't remember, but we were leaving, and they were turning out the lights as we were leaving, and let me tell you, I was ready to get out.
You're ready to get out of there.
I was ready to get out of there.
It's kind of creepy place. And I think that building used to be. I think it used to be a car place. I think that's what it used to be.
Car dealership or something.
Car dealership, because they had a bay in there where they would do oil changes.
Yes.
It was, that's what it used to be way back when. So it was a big place.
It was. I kind of wish the theater was still there. I always liked that building.
Great location.
Yeah. Go on, Cindy. Tell us some more about some of the experiences that you know about from downtown.
Well, and before you get on, I just want to remind people once again, if you're listening, we want to make sure you email us your stories to Price and Presley show at gmail.com. All right. And just doing a little bookkeeping here. I don't want you to forget about that. And also go to our Facebook pages and follow us there, facebook.com Price Presley Spook Show as well. And YouTube, follow us on YouTube. That's where you can hear the podcast and everything absolutely free. And you get links to other places you can get the podcast as well.
That's right. Be sure to send your stories because, we like good stories. In fact, if it's a good enough story and you'd like to, we might even call you like we've called Cindy and
get you on
let
the show.
You tell the story in your own words. That's the best when somebody tells it in their own words.
I just wanted to remind people of that. Cindy's got a lot of great stories here, and we want more great stories like that. So make sure you get those to us. So Cindy, sorry to interrupt you. Go on, continue with some more about downtown Bryan.
Well, there is an entertainment venue that's been several entertainment venues over the years. And talking to some of the folks that have worked there, each night when they were counting the money after the place had closed, it got very, very cold. Just suddenly so cold they could barely stand it. And that was only when they were counting the money.
Wow, that's strange. Wow.
Yes, very strange. And they
Only
were kind of,
even in the summertime?
Even in the summertime. Yeah.
Because my first thought is I can think of it being cooler when you get people out of there. Of course, you don't have as many bodies, so it's going to feel cooler anyway.
Right.
But if it gets cold all of a sudden, just when you're counting the money, that's weird. That's kind of strange.
Yep.
Well,
strange.
Like we say in the paranormal investigation biz, there are no coincidences.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'd have to actually look at this venue and see where they were counting the money and all that to say. But that does sound pretty weird.
That is strange. Yeah.
Well, and supposedly, let's see, I don't know, 80, 90 years ago, the owner was very frugal, whatever that business was in there at the time.
Oh, I see.
And everything, yeah, and everything was all about the money. And so he's kind of been tied to that a little bit. Like he's still, sniffing around, making sure everything's being done right when that money's counted. But
that's the weird thing about the hauntings from time to time. Sometimes you can trace them back to people, and once you trace it back to that person and find out who it is
and what they were like, and
all of a sudden you understand why what's happening is happening.
Okay,
because of their personality or what they used to do for a living or whatever. And that's what makes that part of the investigation so neat, because when you do the research, you find out all these things and then you tie it all together.
Yeah.
Was that your feeling a lot, Cindy, when you did your research?
Yeah, I mean, that's what caused us to do the research. We'd want to know, why is the same thing occurring over and over and over? What was the building? What was the building back in the day? Because they've all been through multiple purposes. So they've all been something else. And it's fascinating to try to trace it back, wondering how it got to where it is today and why that happens. But and you may know, both of you, I'm sure you've been up there many a time, third floor cantina.
Oh yeah.
Love that place.
Yeah. I used to go there all the time back in the day. Yeah.
Yep. And lots of stories from people that actually worked there, for everything from stage center to when it was the third floor cantina. Now, I don't know if it's this way now, but it had been this way in the past, that when it's quiet at night, the mics go hot.
Do what?
The
microphones. Yep. The microphones come on by
themselves.
Yeah.
I never heard that about third floor. Wow. That's kind of weird.
That would take some serious activity to happen, because
that
that would take some serious paranormal energy to make that happen.
Now I will say this: I used to go to the place when it was third floor cantina, and they had acts in there, music acts, and then State Center was in there, and I did a lot of plays.
Yeah,
State Center in there, and I know I didn't think anything about it. I just thought this is just the way the building is. You thought, well, somebody did it. But we'd have parties after shows.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's hanging out, stuff like that,
mm-hmm.
and the doors would close once in a while, like to the dressing rooms. They'd be open, and there would be nobody in there. The door would close, and I just thought, well, somebody's messing around. I didn't think anything about it, and I said, well, nobody's in there. I said, oh, and somebody said, oh, that's just so and so,
really
the ghost that. I said, whatever, and I said, I don't want to hear that. I would go, la la la, I don't want to hear that. I would walk away. And I would just dismiss it. But that would happen a few times. I'd see that. I know that happened a few times.
Why would you dismiss it?
Because I thought there was a lot of people up there. Anybody could just go over there and just push the door.
Somebody was just messing with you.
And plus the door could just be on, teetering on the edge of closing,
I did a show. I would do a show for Stage Center, benefit show for them every year for several years there. And so I spent a lot of time, not anywhere near as much as you, I'm sure.
But you spent time in that building.
I spent a lot of time in that building, and I can tell you that the air conditioning in that building is not powerful enough to move a piece of paper, let alone a door. So I know it wasn't the air conditioning.
No, I don't think it was air conditioning. I just think the doors were old, and they were like, somebody push it a little bit and then walk away and make you think. I thought somebody just trying to mess with people like me.
Well, and that's possible. That's if I'd have been there, that's what I'd have been doing.
I know you would have been. Oh, did you see that, Harold? Did you see that? Look over there.
Whoever's turning on those microphones,
Yeah, and then that's the part I don't know about that. I'm going I don't know what's going on with
that. That's pretty exceptional. If those things were actually turning on by themselves, that's a pretty exceptional.
And that would be more of a third floor cantina thing, because we didn't use microphones. The Stage Center wouldn't have mics. So
I did.
Unless you would. Music shows. I'm talking not for theater shows.
I never had that happen.
Yeah, I never saw that.
And I'll tell you, I heard that from several different people over 20 years.
Oh, really? So it wasn't a one-time thing?
No, that one was one of the multiple things.
Wow.
So,
well, that whole building, it does have a feel to it. I can't say that it's a spooky feel too much. Well, when it's dark, it's kind of spooky in there.
Well, and here again, going back to the history, like to show you that I've been here a long time. Before that was the third floor cantina, when it used to be empty. Right?
Yeah.
There was nothing up there. And we did a play in a building below there. That's a restaurant now.
Yeah.
Mr. G's, I can say that.
Yeah.
And but it wasn't Mr. G's then. It was a different place. It was just nobody in there. And we did a play in there. They didn't have a home. We did a show in there.
Yeah.
And we would go and we would rehearse, and we'd go upstairs And you weren't talking about spooky. And there's nothing in here. There's nothing in that building. Think about nothing being in there.
Oh yeah.
And those windows. And we would sit there on the floor and just, have a couple of beverages and just kind of hang out. And it was. I didn't even think about it. I was with people, so I wasn't scared or anything.
Yeah.
But it was spooky.
Not someplace you'd want to sit by yourself.
No, I wouldn't go up there by myself. No, it was dark, man. You couldn't. And the only light was coming in from the street because of those windows, those old windows.
There are a lot of windows in there. Yeah.
But it was kind of creepy then.
Speaking of windows, Cindy, has there ever been any reports of people seeing something in a window that shouldn't be there or anything like that?
Here's a strange one for you. And I won't say who the person is because I haven't really talked to her, or asked her if I could.
That's fine.
There is a dog that she walks her dog, and when they go by the Hotel Bryan, it's vacant. Up on the upper floors right now. There's nothing in there.
Okay.
She was saying that when she walks in front of that building, or several times it's happened, that her dog stops at a certain spot and looks up at a window. And he looks at it kind of, how would you say? Not adoringly. You can't see his face, but he's like wagging his tail. He's being friendly about it.
Really?
Then when she walked around to the back, and he looked up in another window, and he got very agitated. I mean, just, and she said it was kind of like when he sees somebody that he knows isn't right.
Right.
He's very adept to that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's happened more than once.
Oh, really?
So
this wasn't a one-time adventure.
No.
Wow. Same building, same places.
Same place.
Same thing happens.
Right. And we've talked about that on this show before, how animals are very astute to that kind of thing.
Yeah.
They know when something's there and they let you know.
That's right.
Wow.
Right.
I think I might know who you're talking about. I'll have to talk to her about that. I'll have to ask her about that.
You may. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That to me, that was fascinating because, animals can't lie.
No, they
don't.
They
dogs,
don't.
especially dogs.
Yeah. They send something. I'll let you know. Oh, there's something there. I don't know what it is, but I see there's something,
Yeah. Wow. That's,
right.
And that's a great, I don't know why more ghost hunters don't. I think they did on the TV show once. Had a dog that they brought with them, but I think that, I don't know.
I would. I mean, because they're going to let you know. I mean, they're going to know something's there, I mean, and if they're cool about it, they're just sitting there not noticing anything, there's probably nothing around.
If that dog tucks his tail and tries to run the other way.
Well, I'm tucking my tail and running the other way.
I'm right there with you.
Wait on me, Spot. I'm right behind you.
You need a dog like that prison guard captain that we talked to. Like his dog Sam.
Sam, yeah, that's great. Yeah, Sam
Anyway, Cindy, what else you got for us? You have anything else fun and exciting?
Well, I can tell you that we've had, in my time downtown, we've had numerous ghost teams and psychics come through different buildings. I'm not even focused on one building right now, but time and time again, the psychics will come down there and they'll just say, there's too much, we can't process it. And, when you ask.
Which is code for, I'm really not a psychic.
Yeah, that's not one of. I will say this, Cindy. That's not one of Terry's favorite subjects. Psychics. He's in that. He's in the.
I'm not saying there's not such a thing. I'm just saying that most people who say they are psychic probably aren't. But that doesn't mean these people weren't. I'm just saying, I don't have a whole lot of faith in psychic ability. I believe that it's one of those things that happens when it happens, and it's hard to control, and it's probably more of a curse than a good thing.
Yeah.
So, but
absolutely.
Wait a minute, something's coming to me now. I see it clearly. There. I can't share it with you, but I can see it.
Can you see
waiting? No.
Can you see the ugly monster that's standing up in the window making faces at the dog?
I don't know why you're doing that. Why would you even say that? See, Cindy, let me explain something to you about this guy. He knows that I'm not this guy going run into a building that's dark and making noises to see what's going on. I'm going to go the other way, right? So he will always. I mean, as a matter of fact, he'll send me stuff late at night on my phone, thinking I'm going to look at it. Dude, I'm getting ready to go to bed. I'm not looking at this. I know it's something spooky. I know you sent me something weird. Going to freak me out. No, I'm not looking at it.
He told me one time that he sleeps with his back to the door, and I'm like. You sleep with your back to the door?
I don't want to see it come.
Not a good idea.
What if something walks in and you can't see it?
Well, then I don't want to see it. I don't want to be laying there, open my eyes. What if I lay there and I open my eyes and I was standing right there by the bed?
Never take your eyes off the door, Harold.
I won't be able to sleep.
He told me the night after I told him that, he said he tried sleeping towards the door. And he kept opening his eyes about every 3 seconds just to make sure.
I sleep towards the door. I always start off, before we started this show.
Yeah.
I would sleep towards the door all the time. No big deal.
Yeah.
But you got me so freaked out, I'll turn around and go the other way, and I'll wind up facing the door throughout the night. But I don't start off that way now.
Yeah.
So, but I'm all right. I put it out of my mind. I think
that's creepy. Has there ever been any reports of any of these paranormal entities or ghosts or whatever? Have they ever touched anybody or grabbed anybody or any physical contact at all?
Not that I know of. I mean, we've had people, I've heard people say, well, they touched me on the shoulder and, but nothing, no one's ever grabbed anyone and flung them out the window.
Well, I hope not.
One of the ghost hunters did say that he was grabbed and thrown, and there's no way to prove it. There's no way to know.
Wow.
I haven't heard. I've never heard anything like that, and I've never heard of anybody seeing. How everybody says, well, they were wearing this red dress, and they have all these elaborate details. Nothing like that.
Yeah.
But a lot of things that do go bump in the night, that are not really explainable. And
we love those things.
Well, here's where I'm skeptical about the whole grabbing you and throwing you kind of thing. I'll tell you why. I don't believe that, because if they can grab you, you should be able to grab them or it or whatever it is. If they can make contact with you, you should be able to make contact with them. So if some grabs you should be able to turn around and grab it. And most people that say it kind of thing, they say, well, there was nothing there. Well, that doesn't make sense to me, because if it can make contact with you, you should be able to touch it. You should be able to grab it.
Let me ask you this, Harold. Can you touch electricity?
That's not the same thing.
Wait, just listen to me.
That's not the same thing, man.
It out.
I mean, like hands.
That's what I'm saying. Can you reach out and grab a hold?
No, but you can get shot.
And it will knock you back how far?
You can get shot
a long way.
You can get shot depending on what the what the charge is. But you still can make contact with it.
It's the same principle. It's a different kind of energy. It's like an electromagnetic energy or something that we don't understand.
Well, they don't say when you use the word throw, you're saying something. You put your hands or whatever on you and pushes you and throws you.
That may not be the actual case.
Not knocked you back.
Yeah,
because that's what I would say.
I agree with you that it probably not. They're not going to feel hands on them that's lifting them up. And
that's what they make it sound like.
Yeah, I don't think that's probably the way it works. But it's just like the wind. You can't grab the wind either, but it can blow you.
Well, if it's enough wind, but not just regular wind.
If there's enough paranormal energy, then it possibly could.
So the wind is paranormal?
I mean, well, you hear about things being moved in a house all the time, keys being knocked
off
my
the
house or whatever. We'll see about that.
No.
Are you
sure? But I think it's possible.
I'll tell you, Cindy, here's me, and I'm sure I've had a lot of things happen to me, and this has happened to me a lot, but I blow it off. I don't even think about it. I go in, I'll put my keys in a certain place or something in a certain place, right? And, then I go looking for it and go like, it's not there. It's somewhere else. And I go, when did I move that,
Right.
And I said, well, I must have moved it sometime. I don't even think about it,
Right.
I said, but I can't logically think that when I would have grabbed it and taken it across the room or into the bedroom or somewhere,
or put it in the ice box or something like that.
Well, I'm not that bad yet. I haven't gotten to that point yet.
I've done that.
Here's the point I'm at. I'll have sunglasses on and I'm looking for them and they're on my head. Yeah, and I'm looking for them for a long time.
Yeah,
and I can't find them anywhere. And I'm just frustrated. And all of a sudden I sit there and I go like, I look in the mirror and go like, I don't believe this. They're on my head. I've been looking for 15 minutes, That's
probably the majority of the actual causes of things like that. Yeah. Because I know I've looked for my cell phone for a half an hour and it's in my back pocket the entire time, So that's probably what happens most of the time. However, when you look for something and you laid it down here,
a certain place, that's what I mean. Yeah.
And you look for it an hour and it's not where it's supposed to be, and then you sit down or whatever, and you watch TV and trying to think of where you may have laid it, and then you get up and you walk by the spot where you thought you laid it and it's there. That's weird.
That would be weird. I haven't had that happen.
I've had that happen a couple of times.
Exactly the place, unless it was something over it,
Yeah.
and and I moved it, and oh, there they are.
Yeah.
But
Cindy, do you have any more really good stories to tell us, or have you covered pretty much everything that you know?
Well, there is another one I'll share with you.
Okay, yeah, give us one more. We got time for that.
We've had 2 employees at one hotel setting up for Valentine's Day, setting up suites with romance packages and whatnot.
Yeah.
Something that these 2 had done for probably 4 or 5 years for numerous days. They had it down to an art. So they get to a certain floor in a certain area, and this is the area that the ghost hunters always targeted. It wasn't a basement, wasn't anything scary. It was up in an upper hallway.
Mm-hmm.
So they set up in a suite, and they come walking out, the 2 of them together. Instead of going left out the door to go down the hall, they both took a right into a wall.
What?
Yes. When they turned right, there's a solid wall there. It was at the end of the hall coming out of the suite. If you go right, it's a solid wall. If you go left, you enter the hallway.
Well, why did
But
they?
they both walked out of that suite, getting ready to go to another one, and they both took a right and ran into the wall.
Why would they do that?
Well, they didn't do it intentionally, and it scared them to death. They both said the same thing. Something, whatever it was, they turned right, knowing that they, couldn't. They turned right and walked into that wall.
Something influenced them to go to the right instead of the left.
That's what it sounded like. Yeah.
That's scary.
They immediately came downstairs and they said, "We're done."
Check.
Wow. It was just one of those weird things. And that, I will tell you now, that's exactly where that device got hot.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So we've got a tie in there.
Yeah.
We have a tie in.
Some corroboration.
Yeah.
Wow. That's at one of the hotels downtown Bryan that you will not name.
That I will not name.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah. We won't announce it on the show.
We'll figure it out. Maybe we'll have them on the show if they want to be, so
yeah.
figure it out.
Maybe we'll go do an investigation there.
Yeah, it's good to know. I'm at downtown Bryan all the time, so I'll come across somebody that knows.
It's a wonderful place. I enjoy downtown Bryan.
Cindy, thank you for everything. You've given us some great insight and great stories here.
It's nice.
Well, and please don't let it discourage anybody from going downtown, because I love it. I'm down there all the time, and it's an awesome place to be.
I think if anything, it'll encourage people
to come down and see some of the sites and everything, and have some of these experiences. And it's a wonderful place, downtown Bryan, Texas. So make sure you come on down and check it out.
That's right. And like you said, if you don't have, if you're in that kind of industry and you don't have a ghost, you need to get one.
That's right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, Cindy, thank you so much for taking the time to sit down and talk to us and tell us about our little hometown here in Texas. And I find it very, very interesting. And I will ask you, didn't you say that somebody is just now putting together a new ghost walk in downtown Bryan?
I believe so. I'm not sure who it is. And I still do them occasionally. I just don't do it pretty much full time like I used to.
Okay.
But there are more and more because the interest is there. There's so much going on in downtown Bryan now that's going to be another fun thing to do, which is great.
Right. And people have been cooped up for so long. They'll look for anything to get out.
I actually saw an advertisement for it. So I know somebody's doing it in downtown Bryan, putting the ghost walk together.
Yes.
And so I saw an ad for it. So
cool.
And I think you'll see more of that. And it's not just during Halloween. This is something you could do like in New Orleans all year long.
Oh yeah. You can do this year round. Yeah.
Let me just suggest, if you want to do a good downtown ghost walk, not that Bryan's not good, I'm sure it is, but we did the old town Albuquerque ghost walk one time, brother. Now that one will spook you.
Really?
That one's good.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. If you got spooked, it must have been good.
Yeah. It was pretty spooky.
Okay. All right.
All right, Cindy. Thank you so much. We appreciate you joining us here on the Spook Show today. Now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, don't forget to go down and click the subscribe button on our channel and give us a thumbs up. That helps helps us keep the show going. And also, we need your stories. If we run out of stories to tell, then we don't have a show. So we need your stories, and you can send that to us. What's the email address, Harold?
That's PricePresleyShow@gmail.com. All right. PricePresleyShow@gmail.com. Send them there.
And we will, if you wish us to, we will keep you 100% anonymous. We will not give your name to anyone, and will not say it on the air. If you'd like to do an interview with us, then send us your story.
Yeah.
Tell us that you'd like to do an interview, and leave us some contact information, and we will contact you and talk about possibly having you on the show as a guest on the Spook Show. Yeah. And that's at PricePresleyShow@gmail.com. It's very important. Send us some stories. Anybody got any Bigfoot stories? I love those.
Yeah, he loves Bigfoot, I got to tell you.
So be sure you do that. Check out our link at down in the description.
Yeah.
And you can get some Spook Show paraphernalia even.
That's right. As a matter of fact, Terry's wearing it right now. He's got one on. Got the Spook Show with Price and Presley on right now.
Yep.
It's got that's a purple one, isn't it?
It's chocolate.
Oh, chocolate. Okay.
Chocolate color.
Oh, the light is throwing me off. Okay. You got those colored lights there, man. It's throwing me off. Is that chocolate, really?
Yeah.
I should know that. Okay.
You
It's chocolate, baby.
Yeah. Okay. Moving right along.
Okay. Yes, indeed. That's going to do it for this edition of the Price and Presley Spook Show podcast. He is
Terry Price.
I am Harold Presley.
Don't get spooked.